Banditos, so quick confession, I messed up. In my last ultimate guide to the Death Stalker boss fight, I covered all the best characters and the mechanics, but I completely forgot to include one crucial detail, and it's a big one. The Enzo build. Yeah, the tip of the spear, the guy who puts this fight on easy mode, the literal easy button, and I left out his build. I know, my bad. But that's what this video is all about, because if you want to breeze through Death Stalker, Enzo is the dude to help you do it. Now, if you haven't checked out my full guide on why Enzo is an absolute Giga Chad for this fight, link below. You'll definitely want to hit that up after this video. But today, I'm diving deep into the build details I forgot to mention earlier. Here's the deal. If you've been struggling with the Death Stalker or just want to get through it faster with less frustration, this build is the one. Or at least saves you from a bunch of wipes. So let's jump into Enzo's build and then stick around, because after we'll deep dive on why Enzo is prepped for this fight better than any.
Tux makes it exciting!
Here's Enzo's build. Started with his weapon. I recommend the Enduring Legacy, because you want really large mags with him, because when he reloads, he loses his buff and has to redeploy his skills. And you want to keep that sustained damage up. So I got firearm crit rate, fire attack, bonus firearm attack versus Colossus, that's big here, and then crit damage. As far as mods, a pretty typical setup here. I chose to go with mental focus in case you have to stop firing and then start again. Otherwise, we got rifling, reinforcement, action, reaction, as you would expect. And then I'm expanding the magazine. Again, you don't want to stop to reload with him, because then he loses his buffs. RPM, insight focus, fire enhancement, concentration priority. So lots of crits, because he's going to have lots of crit chance here, but better insight as well, just to get him to the top threshold. I think we're somewhere like 80 to 90% crit chance on this build. So that's the only weapon I'm using for this setup. Otherwise, run whatever you want for backup. For the reactor, it doesn't really matter what you have here, but I do recommend, as far as substats, to go with skill duration and cooldown. That's to ensure you have constant access to his drones, which are major buffs for him and the team. If you can get a reactor to line up, then great. I would go with non-attribute and singular. And then for all the external components, I'm not running a complete set. What's important that you do here is load up on as much HP as possible, and then shield and defense, in that order. MP is also important because he does call in his drones, and that's the only resource he's going to be gathering on the ground. So we got double HP here, very important. This is the invader. HP support with maximum MP, which is great, and then HP and then MP in combat. And then I'm running annihilation. If you can get to annihilation on here, then great, but I don't think you can, because the max HP is 646 on this one. So it would have to come in the center, and I'm not sure that works. Shield recovery in combat, and then defense. Try to get that god roll if you can. Max HP and then max shield here if you can. Now let's go straight into the mods. So supply firearm enhancer is one of the best mods in the game, but these are really hard to get. All his mods are hard. You have to get them from ultra precise encrypted vaults in hard mode, and they just don't spawn enough for you to farm this efficiently. So if you don't have this, don't worry. He's still an amazing build, and I would still run him. So if you take that off, what that's going to do is it's going to change this to summons a bullet supply device. So that's still really handy. It's not damage, but your team would really appreciate the ammo. So this converts his number 1. So you want to deploy that every time you reload, or just all the time, because you want your team to have the buff also. So let me tell you what we're doing with this build. What we're basically doing is converting everything into his shields, because all of his power is coming from his skill buffs. It's weapon damage, so we don't need to put any skill damage or anything like that. So everything is about survivability here. And believe it or not, in order to get high shields, you need high HP, which sounds crazy, but that's the way it works. So I'm gonna go through this and you'll just see the numbers here at the end. So we got HP conversion, max shield at the cost of HP. We got stim accelerant, which is HP at the cost of mana. He doesn't require much. Nimble fingers, you do want cooldowns so you can have access to your skills constantly. And then increase shield for what it is. Overwhelming shield is going to convert his HP into shield. So it'll drop that to 1 and it'll buff his shields by 26%. And then you're no longer going to have HP. You basically have an HP of 1. So there's no HP bar, and he's incredibly hard to kill this way. And he avoids the debuff this way. There's no debuff to shields. So it's great. increased HP, so there's the base HP. So all the HP factors are going into overwhelming shield for the conversion there. It's crazy how this works, I know. And then amplified control, so this gives him more shield is what I'm really after there, but also helps his skill, the number 4, reach allies that are a little bit further out. But don't count on a lot of Descendants running range on their Enzos. I just happen to find a way to do it. So MP conversion, skill cooldown at the cost of MP. Again, we want our skills always up. And then shot focus is going to take down skill power because we're not using skill power, but gives us more firearm attack. I know you might not have this. If you don't, then look at durations and cooldown mods. Otherwise, defense is really helpful too, but he's really tanky. I don't think you're going to need any more defense. You can run Perfect Venom there also, but again, he's really hard to kill. And the stuff that does bring him down hit extremely hard, and I don't think any of those things are really going to help. This one is really cool on him. If you haven't used Biosync Shield, it's amazing. Big spurts and heals. So it's converting 70% of HP recovered upon acquiring an HP orb and moves that to shield. And this makes you less reliant on Eugen. You don't know if there's going to be a Eugen on your team or not. Even if there is, I've noticed the Eugens haven't been doing a great job, maybe because they don't have enough cooldown or enough mana, or they're too hyper focused on DPS and not doing their job. Whatever it is, they're just not healing as often as I would like. So I like to have a little bit of independence. Because ads are dying all over the place, there's going to be health orbs, so you might as well take advantage of them. It's just one more way to be tanky. So if you look at his stats, my shield is at almost 30,000 in shield. That's incredible. The only thing I would change here is toxin resistance there. I just don't have the perfect piece, and I didn't want to lose the shields. Small, tiny bit of defense only coming from that external component. And as far as stats, just realize I don't have his buffs activated right here, but just so you can see the weapon, it's at a base of 33 and 7.875. This one goes way up. The base damage goes up. The reload time goes down. The weak point damage goes up when he has all of his buffs. So this is a top tier build. You can use it on any boss, not just this one.
Let's do this!
So let's talk about why Enzo's the absolute boss when it comes to taking down Death Stalker. This dude is like a walking tank that turns the entire fight into easy mode. With his shields, he's invincible to Death Stalker's most dangerous mechanic, the dreaded HP debuff, which basically defines the fight. That means while everyone else is trying not to get one shot, Enzo is over here eating hits like a snack and pumping out constant damage. You can die, but that's basically if you're just standing there like a chump, taking it all to the face, which you can do for a while. Ammo management, well, with Enzo, you won't be frantically hunting for ammo in the middle of the fight. His drone companion keeps the team supplied with ammo, so no one has to worry about running dry as long as you're within range. And trust me, in a long fight like this, that's a game changer because you can keep firing on the boss instead of her minion ads. During the immunity phase, this is when Death Stalker is shielded and there's not much to damage. And then during the damage phase, this is where Enzo really shines. He's the main DPS with non-stop damage output. His firearm enhancer and drone boost not only his own damage, but also the team's, giving everyone around him a 29% crit chance and 15% extra weak point damage. So when you see Enzo drop that device, touch it. Seriously. Don't miss out on that sweet, sweet bonus. Enzo also summons a friendly companion drone that boosts the entire squad's damage even further. 20% more crit rate, weapon damage, and faster reloads at 10%. So another reason to stay close to Enzo. Wolfpack mentality here, folks. The closer you are, the better off you'll be. As Enzo, you're the tip of the spear for this fight, so stay just outside the range of Death Stalker's bone AoE and mirror her movements. So if she goes high, you go low. If she goes low, you go high elevation-wise. That way you're not getting hit by her AoE, which is always at ground level. You're not just dealing damage, you're keeping the team alive and strong with those buffs, so they can keep Death Stalker on her heels. Overall, when it comes to surviving, the tip I can give you is avoid the heavy-hitting lasers, which comes out of her hand or from the heavens above, and that AoE circle of bones. Enzo can take hits, and a lot of them, to be honest with you, but eventually too many of those, he will go down, especially if he's getting them in succession. And otherwise, shield management, just make sure you're popping your healer drone. It gives you big spurts at 25% of shields back And then the orbs, because you're running biosync. That's a lot of burst heals. And if you have Eugen, he's just a cherry on the top. You're pretty self-sufficient. Wrapping up, Enzo is the ultimate boss slaying machine in the Death Stalker fight. He's practically a one-man army. So if you're looking for fast clear times and less frustration, this is the dude and the build you need. I'll be putting out the other Descendant build videos for this fight also, but they are included in the ultimate guide as well. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Tuxedo Bandido. That's Tito Bandido.
One and only.
And this was another episode of The First Descendant. If you found this video helpful, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to ensure you don't miss out on the fantastic experiences waiting for you in The First Descendant. And if you like videos like this, check out the one I have recommended for you right here. If you have anything you want to see covered, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And thank you to all the channel members and donors who make everything possible. Tux Nation wouldn't be without you.
When you buy or download anything for The First Descendant, be sure to use Tux's creator code to support the channel. Easy peasy.
Follow me.